Have you ever wondered why the news plays the same 5 stories again and again? Let me give you a little hint. Brainwashing and repetition is the most basic form of brainwashing. Join me as we look at the news cycle and talk about why the mainstream media is so gutless and afraid to report the truth. What's up? Oops. What's going on? Why can I not hear myself? This is a bad thing. What's happening? Welcome to Troubled Minds News, where the conspiracy... Wait, the news is the conspiracy. Okay, now I can hear myself. That freaks me out. I've muted myself so many times in so many situations by pressing the wrong button, but not today. It is not this day. This day, we talk news. What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. Happy Monday. Of course, I'm your host, Michael Strange, and welcome to Troubled Minds News. And the whole point we've done this, we're doing this entire, peel off the thing from the other thing, which was Troubled Minds Radio, and do the news just kind of in its own right, is because we have, there's a lot to talk about. And Troubled Minds Radio was very, very topical, and merging the two things together became very, very sloppy, and these news segments got larger and larger. So it makes sense to actually just, yeah, buttons can be hard. What's up, AJ? Yeah. I mean, it becomes one of those sloppy situations where it just made more sense to peel off the two shows and talk about propaganda here and talk about amazing things there, and that's what's happened here, and that's what we're doing, and that's what's happening with the show. As always, as you know, the situation with us is transparency. Everybody else out there is very non-transparent anymore with governments, corporations, the media. Basically, everything is hiding behind some sort of PR firm. Because, cancel culture and people are scared and all the rest of this, and it's a big, scary world. Well, guess what? We do things a little different, and transparency is key here, because I'm not right about many things, and it's not about being right. Like, everybody seems to have this kind of built-in damage, I think, where it's a battle for truth, and I don't think it's a battle for truth at all. I think it's a battle for just information, accurate information, and being able to sort of break the old paradigms we've been fed as a bunch of BS as we grew up and learned, kind of locked into these systems, that the rules don't have to be as these systems suggest. And so that's what this show's about. This show and the other show together, I think it's a nice companion piece. We can talk about some other quick hit news things here and talk about some more amazing things over there. So in any case, back to the transparency bit. If you want to call me and say, Michael Strange, you're full of shit, you're welcome to. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org, and we'll put you on the show. And that's what it's about. That's what this is all about. And don't mind my lemonade background. It's getting to be summer here in Las Vegas already. So we've got that going on. Oh, hold on. Let me close this down. Oh, geez, so many programs open. This is bad. Okay. All right. So let's do it. So give me a call. And again, if you want to call me for any other reason, that's fine too. It doesn't have to be to tell me to shut my mouth or anything. But let's go. Let's begin here. This is from the Washington Post, and you'll never believe this. This is, we talked about this a little bit when this actually went down, but check this out. IRS abandons facial recognition plan after firestorm of criticism. No shit. We were one of the ones that criticized them about this because, well, who wants to just hand over some facial recognition data to the government? Well, yeah, right. The agency had planned to require taxpayers send video scans of their face to a private company starting this summer. Right? Like the tax process is not, let's say, obtrusive, annoying, and draconian enough. Now we may as well just how about this? Like, okay, vote me in as your new tax czar, and here's what I'll do. Not only will I make you scan your face, I'll make you get in line to do it in like a TSA sort of situation, and we'll jiggle your bits while we're at it. How about that? Like, we may as well just do the entire. Let's just do it right. Let's just do it right. What do you say? The Internal Revenue Service, is straight from the article, has abandoned its plan to require millions of Americans to submit to a facial recognition check through a private company to access their online tax accounts, following a firestorm of criticism from privacy advocates and members of Congress and the folks at Troubled Minds, because yes, we were complaining about this too. The IRS said Monday it would transition away from using a face scanning device by the company ID.me in the coming weeks, and would develop an additional authentication process that does not involve facial recognition. The IRS said it would also continue to work with cross-government partners on additional methods of authentication, but it did not provide a precise time frame for the change or say what the additional authentication process might entail. Oh, there you go. What's up? Dre says bits jiggling. Some people pay extra for that kind of service. Wait, are you telling me I should be paid by the people at the TSA, the airports, or are you saying that I should pay them? I'm confused. Anyway, in any case, the agency original had said that that starting this summer, all taxpayers would need to submit a video selfie to ID.me to access their tax records and other services on the IRS website. But lawmakers and advocates slammed the idea of mandating the technology's use nationwide, saying it would unfairly burden Americans without smartphones or computer cameras, would make sensitive data vulnerable to hackers, and would subject people of color to a system known to work less accurately on darker skin. Now, interestingly, notice the reasons here. Lawmakers and advocates, right? It would unfairly burden Americans without smartphones. All right. So we're saying that, like, we're protecting less privileged people, right? Then we're saying that that it would unfairly burden Americans with, as I said, that would make sensitive data vulnerable to hackers, which it's always vulnerable to hackers. So there's literally the first two things here, like, okay, well, what about people that don't qualify? And then the third would subject people to people of color. So what about everybody else? Why can't they just say this is a draconian bullshit thing and nobody wants to do this because it's grotesque, it's unfair, and can we get to reforming taxes already? Because that's bullshit too. Like this again, you guys know me, taxes and healthcare. Oh, and preaching. I just learned a third trigger point of mine: preaching at me. Preaching at me. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay. Anyway. All right. Yeah. So here we go. This is the world we live in, and this is the IRS. I guess it depends on the bits. I guess it depends on the bits, doesn't it, guys? Hey, man, my bits aren't free for jiggling by strangers. Right. And that's my point. Except, well, what if they mandate it by the IRS? I will be your IRS czar, and just get in this line to get your bits jiggled, and then get in that line for your facial scan. And then third, we'll need a stool sample just to make sure that you're actually you and not some reptilian alien. All right. Anyway, as usual, links to the situation if you guys want to follow along. And let's go to the New York Post. The New York Post, propaganda at its finest. Love it. You got to love it. Leaked video. Did you guys see this? We talked about this just very briefly. I can't remember if it was in the news show or on the Troubled Minds for a little bit, but check this out. This is nuts. Leaked video shows Navy fighter jet crashing on carrier USS Carl Vinson. All right, USS Carl Vinson. Yeah, this is wild. This is absolutely wild. This is an F-35 Lightning II, which is a stealth fighter costing upward of $100 million. Leaked video captured the harrowing moment the fighter jet crashed onto the deck of the aircraft carrier USS Carl Vinson before plunging into the South China Sea last month. The pilot was recovered after ejecting from the F-35 Sea Lightning II, which was seen bobbing in the water without its canopy. 7 sailors were wounded in the January 24th incident. Quote, the ship has assessed that the video and photo covered in the media were taken on board the USS Carl Vinson during the crash. U.S. Navy 7th Fleet spokesman Commander Haley Sims told Military.com in an email. The footage captured the aircraft's final moments from the pilot's landing aid television, or PLAT, P-L-A-T, the PLAT camera, as well as from the ship's so-called island, the command center for flight deck operations. The leaked video has been shared on Reddit, Telegram, Instagram, and other social media sites, according to Business Insider. There it is. Nice editing. Anyway, nice formatting. Anyway, so if you look at this, now this is crazy that not only do we have this situation where we have this F-35A, again, I think it's $95 or $96 million just for this one plane alone. These are the fifth generation stealth fighters, okay? And the crazy part is it looks like this was just an oops. This was like a parking error, as it were. And think about that, how ridiculous that is, right? And I guess it illustrates how incredibly difficult it is landing a fighter jet on an actual aircraft carrier. But I'm pretty sure that there's people out there that think aircraft carriers aren't real. So we'll just say that this is all made up, maybe, or maybe not. Anyway, so the F-35 is seen banking as it descends rapidly toward the carrier, which was executing a turn at the time of the jet's approach. Yeah, exactly. Imagine that. Your parking spot, as you try to pull in, starts turning left. Oh, shit. There's a problem, right? There's a problem there. The landing signal officer, or LSO, yells power for the pirate to increase thrust, abort the landing, and go around. But the fighter jet appears to strike the deck, bounces violently, and skids as it erupts in flames. After the pilot ejects, the plane plummets into the sea, and emergency crews rush to put out fires sparked by burning pieces from the aircraft. The Navy initially described the incident as a landing mishap that occurred while the Carl Vinson was conducting routine flight operations in the South China Sea. The service added that the pilot, who was recovered by a helicopter, was in stable condition. 3 of the 7 injured sailors were flown to a hospital in Manila, the Philippines, and were listed in stable condition. The other 4 were treated aboard the ship, they said. And there's a photograph of, yeah, that's right, a $96 million plane floating in the water before it sank, because planes don't float. just like birds aren't real, right? Just planes don't float and birds aren't real. Anyway, there you go. There's what we're talking about today, because why the hell not? I think it's interesting to note that I was watching this. It was a documentary with none other than David Fravor. Everybody knows that the snowflakes can't fly. Obviously, what's up? See there, Gani. How you doing? So think about it in terms of this. You got your aircraft carrier, right, and it's doing its thing. And not only can it turn laterally, so that was piss poor planning by this whole landing setup, right? But then you got to think about it in terms of the ocean is also like bobbing and weaving. So this thing is not only can turn laterally, this thing is actually kind of like doing this bit up and down as it just sits on the waves. And so you're trying to land on this thing. And this one, I can't remember what the thing was. It was on like Discovery Channel or something like this, but they had David Fravor, the infamous, one of the infamous pilots that saw the original Tic Tac UFOs in the sky, at least in that first incident on the, I believe it was the Nimitz incident, but where the they're having this super hard seabed, basically just kicking this aircraft carrier around, and so the front of it is tipping up and tipping down in the ocean, right? And so they're trying to land on this freaking thing is bucking like a bronco, and they pass 3 or 4 or 5 times, and they're running low on fuel. And if they don't stick this sucker, they're screwed. They're gonna end up in the water or worse, right? Like this one. But I thought it was pretty interesting that it's not a simple thing. One does not simply land a fighter jet on an aircraft carrier, apparently. But this is there you go. This is what happened. And so then, of course, now the race is on, and we haven't heard any additional information, as far as I'm aware, that this F35 Lightning II has been recovered. Or, of course, you better believe in the South China Sea that the Chinese government won't want to get their hands on this. So who knows what the hell's going on, other than literally that's $96 million floating in the water as it's about to sink. And there you go. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org, and we'll put you on the show. Easy as that. And let's see, where are we? How's everybody doing today? Happy Monday. And let's see. Birds aren't real. Is it a real conspiracy, right? The guy who, of course. It's not real. It's not real, but neither are aircraft carriers. They're also fake. All right, let's do this, and then we'll keep on trucking. We got Futurism.com reports this, and here we go. This is Neuralink co-founder invests in rival that's beaten Elon Musk to human trials. It's yet another rival company he's supporting. There we go. Neuralink's co-founder insists there's no bad blood between him and his old company, but his investments might suggest otherwise. Max Hodak, the co-founder who left Neuralink in 2021 under mysterious circumstances, has become involved in at least 2 different rival companies since his departure. Last year, he secured a $47 million in funding for a brain interface venture called Science Corp. Now he's personally invested in another Neuralink rival, Synchron, according to a blog post he published on Friday. Hodak previously served on an advisory board for the public before deciding to put some skin in the game. Quote, I'm excited to have the opportunity to ride along on their journey, and while realistically advisors are usually limited usefulness, to help them succeed in whatever little way I can, Hodak wrote. While the 2 companies have similar goals, Synchron sets itself apart from Neuralink in a few distinct ways. For one, instead of implanting a chip in your brain via your skull like Musk's venture, Synchron accesses the organ via blood vessels and leaves electrodes in the walls of the vasculature rather than penetrating into the sensitive bulk tissue of the brain, Hodak writes. Oh, how can this go wrong? The company also already begun human trials for its device. It even announced in December that the tech allowed a man with ALS to tweet to the world, tweet the words "Hello World." Okay, all right. Neuralink, meanwhile, has yet to reach human trials. Last December, Musk announced that the company would start putting chips in human brains in 2022, but didn't provide a precise timeline about when that might occur. Hodak's announcement is yet another addition to the growing pile of headaches and bad press Neuralink has seen lately. It's still not certain if the company will finally hit human trials either, but we'll see. Musk just probably didn't expect building brain computer interfaces to be so hard. Sure, he didn't. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with this. Did you know? I didn't know there was a competitor that was actually in human trials because, well, it doesn't get any press. And that's kind of what I've been talking about is that, remember, we talked about Elon Musk and how he's like this press machine. And so like the things he does turn to gold because everybody wants to cover what's up next with him. But then, right, sort of like riding his own wake, which is weird. But then you have other people that may be ahead of him in other instances, like the Neuralink stuff that they were doing in 2002 that wasn't actually Neuralink. It was some other thing, but it got no press whatsoever and died because of no funding. So now, of course, in this instance, because Elon's name is attached to it, everybody wants to be a part of it. So there you go. That's what we're talking about. Again, this is Troubled Minds News. I'm your host, Michael Strange. Let's get a quick word from our sponsor, which is you. Are you digging the show? If so, you can support us quite easily and at no additional cost to you if you already have an Amazon Prime account. Since we stream on Twitch every day, all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and they give you free games on a monthly basis for your personal use, and also a bonus $5 a month to send to your favorite streamer as a way to bring more people to Twitch. And all you have to do is sync up to 2 accounts and click subscribe. Thanks for considering us. All right, let's get back to it. We have this. This is from Local 12. This is a Las Vegas local station. And there's this thing called smishing. Smishing. FBI issues warning about smishing scams. Yeah, lovely. Smishing might be a funny sounding word, you don't say. But Aaron Rouse, the FBI special agent in charge of its Las Vegas office, says it's a serious problem. Like phishing, when scammers try to entice victims to click on an email link, smishing involves short message services, or SMS, as a text message on your cell phone. And just like phishing, click on the link and can lead to identity theft and ripoffs. Quote, smishing is the latest form of scams out there in the very useful world of telecommunications, said Rouse. We love our devices. We love being able to go online and communicate with anyone we want and have access to all of these things. But that provides a portal for bad guys to do bad things. What's up, Schmoley Schmidt? What's going on, Daryl? How are you? It all begins when the person receiving the text clicks on the link. Quote, you'll have a loss of access to your device sometimes. You'll have afforded somebody access to your device, and you'll possibly lose personally identifiable information. So it's something that we just like to say with the email. If you didn't ask for it, don't click it, Rouse says. And here's some nice examples here. AT&T free message. November bill is paid. Thanks. Here's a little gift for you. Right? I get this shit all the time. Screw these guys. I try and block them all, and you can't do it. And they just keep coming. It's these swarm robotics are in full effect in the smishing. Was this what smishing? Can't say it. Smishing. Anyway, so yeah, a few examples of smishing making the rounds. A text claiming to be from AT&T saying your bill has been paid, followed by a link to claim a prize, or a text claiming to be Netflix telling the target they need to click on the attached link if they want to keep watching. Yeah, see? It's coming after you. Quote, I get pre-approved for certain things, or really weird texts, says Lisa Mesa, who has received numerous smishing texts. They actually get kind of personal. They make it sound like they're a friend reaching out to you sometimes, too. It says your appointment is ready. Click on this link. Yep. Special Agent Rouse says no one has been arrested in Las Vegas on charges related to smishing, but it's just a matter of time. That's because he says the scammers can operate from anywhere, which is why the FBI needs the public to report smishing if they're targeted. Oh, really? You want us to report our smishings? Because I'll be spending half my day reporting my smishings, people. Can't you just figure out, FBI? What's up with the surveillance state that can watch us, right? But it can't watch the watchers, watch the smishers. Anyway, quote, they can be found anywhere. It really does depend on the scheme that's being perpetrated and the amount of effort behind it, Rouse said. Sometimes we see very widespread scams that'll go out and we quickly become aware of it because people will do the right thing. They report it to IC3.gov. Well, there you go. Now you know. If you get smished, here you go. Here's your public service announcement. IC3.gov. There's your website. Apparently, that's where you report it. And if they don't do anything about it, don't blame me. I'm paying my taxes too, much to my chagrin. Don't get me started on that shit. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. We'll put you on the show, and we're just kicking it. It's Happy Monday. Hope everybody's doing well out there. And it's Lemonade Background Day because you like your lemonade pink or you like a yellow? What kind of lemonade do you guys like? Anyway, where are we at? There you go. Matt's got it right. Who will smish the smishers? And that's what's on. That's what troubles my mind today. Absolutely, 100%. All right, so what we're doing is talking the news. And if you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org, and we'll put you on the show. Where are we at time-wise? I think we're good. Everything looks good. No problems here. Let us continue, shall we? There we go. And Let's do it. This is NPR, your most trusted source in propaganda. Here we go. They're saying it right here. The U.S. is considering a radical rethinking of the dollar for today's digital world. Yes, FedCoin. You got to love FedCoin, right? As they move to crack down on Bitcoin and the decentralization of currency that's not run by themselves and the central banks. Well, here we have this. Straight from the article. Since its establishment as the country's national currency, the dollar has undergone many updates and changes, but nothing compares to the proposal being debated today. The U.S. is gingerly considering whether to adopt a digital version of its currency, one better suited for today's increasingly cashless world, ushering what would be one of the dollar's most fundamental transformations. And by the way, remember, I've called FedCoin, or a digital dollar, the final piece of the surveillance puzzle, because it means that you couldn't spend a single penny anywhere without the government knowing where you are, what you're doing, what you're spending it on, all the rest of this shit. The final piece of the surveillance puzzle. So if you get people that are like bucking against this hard, that's why. Remember, whatever they're going to smear them for being afraid of or all the rest of this shit, that's what it's about. It's about privacy. It's about being able to do with your own money what you want to do with your own money when you want to do it without any sort of government oversight and knowledge through some sort of database because of their FedCoin. All right? That's the argument. That's the argument. That's the argument. They're going to smear the shit out of any arguments against it because that's what the press does. I promise you this is coming, and they're going to say, oh, privacy advocates are concerned about these things but it's an unfounded thing because, mark my words, it's coming. They're going to try and press this, and they're going to try and say that people that want privacy are seemingly guilty or tax evaders, or they're going to turn them into criminals in the eyes of the press, and that's not the argument. That's not the argument. That's not the argument. How many times do I got to say it? Here we go. In that scenario, the U.S. would not only mint the coins and print paper bills, but also issue digital cash, or a central bank digital currency, CBDC they call it, that would be stored in apps or digital wallets on our smartphones. Yeah, and let's see. We could then use them to pay for things, just like we do with Venmo or Apple Pay, and no physical money would change hands. Wow, it'd be like vaporware. It would be like there is no spoon, except in this case, there is no dollars. Isn't that interesting? Then they wouldn't even have to take time to pretend to print it. They just add some zeros to the end of the central bank account. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, free money for all. And, free money for their friends. Fuck you, pay your taxes. By the way, the tax increase this year is going to be heavy. It's going to suck because they can't rein in their own spending. Don't you find it odd, by the way, that number one, they print the shit out of money at will, all right? They're out of control spending in Washington, D.C., blowing these budgets out year after year. It seems to be a giant issue. And then on top of that, we don't get any free money printed tax breaks. We still got to pay our taxes. So who the fuck is paying anything? If we're literally just printing money willy-nilly, right? The government is spending it hand over fist like they can't get rid of, they can't burn money fast enough. So who's actually paying for anything? When you think about it, who's actually paying for anything? Oh, only you, right? Only you. If you pay your taxes, you get fucked. Right? And it's not okay. That's one of those ones where I'm just like, oh, God, why? Why? For the love of God, why? It's tax season. Don't get me started. Anyway, now the U.S. is weighing whether it wants to get into the game. It's a vision of a cashless future that other countries are already embracing. China, for example, has unveiled the digital yuan on a trial basis. India this week said it would create a digital rupee. Last month, the Federal Reserve released a much-anticipated paper laying out the advantages and disadvantages of a digital currency. Yes, baby aspirin. What's that? Where's Jay? Take my baby aspirin. Us old guys get heart palpitations when this shit starts to happen. You're just like, oh, God, make it stop. Last month, the Federal Reserve, blah, blah, we just read that. The Fed says this is a first step meant to kickstart an important conversation among policymakers and to gather feedback from average people. Oh, that's so kind of them. That's so nice. Average people to some of the country's largest financial institutions. Hey, we're average people. Why don't you come ask us? I'll tell you where to... Hey, I got your digidollar right here. How about that? That's what I'll tell them if they ask me. All right, where are we at time-wise? I think everything's good. Looks fine. What's going on, guys? Geez. All right, let's see. Blah, 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 blah. All right, one more, and then we'll take another quick break here and keep on trucking. All right, you guys know the deal. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show, watching all the things, all the places, and there you go. Let's go to... Here, ARS Technica. Meta may be forced to shutter Facebook and Instagram in the EU. Oh, better make it too, says Jay. Stringent data privacy rules under GDPR have the company in a tight spot. Oh, you don't say. You don't say. Like I've always said about these assholes, these guys that build spyware and call it a product because it's got 2 or 3 useful things for you, right? Like, oh, look, you can keep in touch with your family and friends easily. Well, did you know the internet's a big fucking place, and you could do that any other ways, including, oh, by the way, Discord. Please come join the Discord, troubledminds.org. Click the Discord link. It's free. It's completely free. And you know what? They're not... As of yet, they're not serving ads to anybody. They're not turning into the thought police. They're not doing any of this shit just yet. All right, just yet. I'm not saying they won't, but I am saying that there are better places than Facebook. So, by the way, Facebook... I'll save it. You know what I was about to say. There we go. This is from, let's see. Meta says it may have to abandon the European Union. The note was buried in the company's annual filing with the Securities and Exchange Commission. Meta said that if officials on both sides of the Atlantic can't reach an agreement on data transfers and warehousing, the company may have to pull its Facebook and Instagram platforms from Europe. Aw, tears were had. Quote, if a new transatlantic data transfer framework is not adopted, we will likely be unable to offer a number of our most significant products and services, including Facebook and Instagram in Europe, Meta said in its 10-K filing. At this point, the statement is probably less of a threat and more of an acknowledgement of the regulatory headwinds that the American company faces in the European Union. The SEC requires publicly traded companies to disclose issues that may affect profits and losses, and few things are more profitable for Facebook than user data. Exactly. Quote, we have absolutely no desire and no plans to withdraw from Europe. But the simple reality is that Meta and many other businesses, organizations, and services rely on data transfers between the EU and the U.S. in order to operate global services, a Meta spokesperson told ARS. We are closely monitoring the potential impact on our European operations as these developments progress. Oh, I see. Is that how we're going to do this now? That's how we're going to do this, I guess. Anyway, you tell me. Is this a big loss for the European Union? I don't know. Probably not. I mean, like I said, there are so many other ways you can communicate with people online, bringing people together, right? There's so many other places and ways to do this now that, back in the day, you guys remember before Facebook, there was MySpace? Whatever the hell happened to MySpace anyway? I don't know. Facebook is the same thing, but worse, right? Like more bloated, more options, less privacy, all the rest of that. I don't know. Anyway, what do you guys think? Digital dollar, Facebook in the EU, all the rest of this stuff. 702-957-1037. We're right at the correct time to take a quick break. So you know what that means. You're listening to Troubled Minds News. I'm your host, Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. More after the break. Be right back. All right. Welcome back to Troubled Minds News. I'm your host, Michael Strange, and that iced coffee tastes really good. All right, let's go. Let's roll it. We got this. Let's continue, shall we? Mm-hmm. Speaking of, speaking of such, I got your Fed coin right here. What's up going on, guys? I see you there. What's up, Night Stalker? Facebook is like the basis of our online persona, though people will freak out if they lose it. Dre says a lot of businesses using those apps are going to suffer. In my industry, if you don't have an IG presence, good luck getting new clients. Yep. That's true. That's exactly true. That's what happens when Facebook takes over the world. What's going on, guys? We got this. Let's do this. Oh boy, did somebody say 0% tax? This is from CNBC. The Bitcoin family emigrates to Portugal for its 0% tax on cryptocurrencies. and curious. Didi Taihutu, a patriarch of the so-called Bitcoin family, says the family is setting down roots in Portugal, Europe's ultimate crypto tax haven. Settling down is a big deal for the Dutch family of 5 who have traveled the world for the last 5 years. But after they spent time in 40 countries, Portugal, which is one of the last places in Europe with a 0% tax on Bitcoin, was just too enticing a destination to ignore. Quote, you don't pay any capital gains tax or anything else in Portugal on cryptocurrency, said Tai Hutu. As long as you don't earn cryptocurrency for providing services in Portugal, you're in the clear. That's a very beautiful Bitcoin heaven, he said. He said heaven. I heard 0% taxes in heaven. Weird. That's, you know what? That's a hell of... Do you guys think there are taxes in heaven? I wonder about that. It's the stuff of my nightmares. I'll wake up in like a cold sweat sometimes, and I'm just thinking, breathing heavily, you know, like wiping the sweat off my face. Look at Mrs. Strange, she's still sleeping. I'm like, do you think there are taxes in heaven? And then I can't go back to sleep. Anyway, there we go. In 2017, Tai Hutu, his wife, and 3 kids liquidated all they owned, trading a 2,500 square foot house and virtually all their earthly possessions for Bitcoin and a life on the road. This was back when the price of Bitcoin was around $900. Oh, you bastards. The world's biggest cryptocurrency is currently trading around 41,000 after peaking at about 69,000 in November. Yep. The Tai Hutu contingent won't disclose the exact size of their crypto nest egg. Oh, very smart, because they're going to get their doors kicked in by some machine guns that will relieve them of their crypto wallets. But anyway, Tai Hutu says he safeguards his family's crypto fortune in secret vaults on 4 different continents. See, there you go. So you don't get your doors kicked in with machine guns. So presumably their crypto stake is substantial enough to make it worth having to fly across the globe to redeem their decentralized cash. What kind of crypto stake? The tax perks in Portugal are certainly a big draw, though it doesn't hurt that the country offers a safe and pleasant way of life. In 2021, the country ranked 4th on the Global Peace Index, and it tops the list of best countries for expats. Don't tempt me. Don't you tempt me. Don't you tempt me. Oh, God, there it is. There it is. Night Stalker says, no taxes in heaven, but I heard there's a ton of toll roads. Super annoying when driving around. Yeah, see? I knew it. That's how they get you. They're like, oh, tax-free. Tax-free. Come on in, guys. Go into the light. And then they're like, that'll be 22 karma points to cross the bridge. You're like, fuck, why? Anyway, what's going on? 702-957-1037, talking about this stuff and all the stuff, and why not? Because if we don't, who will? That's really what this is all about. And, you tell me. Portugal, maybe? All this stuff. All right, where are we at? I think time-wise, everything looks good. We're all fine. All right, let's keep on trucking. There's always more to talk about because, 1, I got a blabbermouth, and 2, the news just comes at you, right? It's like a really terrifying deluge of drama and BS. But anyway, this is from ScienceAlert.com. 13,000 years ago, a firestorm covered 10% of Earth's surface, triggering an ice age. Yes. All right. At a point some 12,800 years ago, a tenth of Earth's surface suddenly became covered in roaring fires. Malt beer, ripe meat on the bone. Oh, sorry, wrong movie. The firestorm rivaled the one that wiped out the dinosaurs, and was likely caused by fragments of a comet that would have measured around 100 kilometers across. That'd be 62 miles. As dust clouds smothered Earth, they kicked off a mini ice age that kept the planet cool for another 1,000 years, just as it was emerging from a 100,000 years of being covered in glaciers. Once the fires burned out, life could start again. And the hypothesis is that a large comet fragmented and the chunks impacted the Earth, causing this disaster, said Adrian Melot from the University of Kansas, who co-authored a 2018 study detailing this catastrophic event. Quote, a number of different chemical signatures, carbon dioxide, nitrate, ammonia, and others all seem to indicate that an astonishing 10% of the Earth's land surface, or about 10 million square kilometers or 3.86 million square miles, was consumed by fires. To peer back into the burning fires and shockwaves of this major event, a large number of geochemical and isotopic markers were measured from more than 170 sites across the world, involving a team of 24 scientists. One of the pieces of analysis carried out was on patterns in pollen levels, which suggested pine forests were suddenly burned off to be replaced by poplar trees, a species specializing in covering barren ground, as you might get when your planet has been hit by a series of massive fireballs. Laser beams, fireballs. Was this the first directed energy weapon, guys, 13,000 years ago? Robert wants to know, do you need to have a Vax passport if you want to cross over to heaven? Asking for a friend. The plot thickens, doesn't it? Matt says that's how they advertise shopping in Oregon, tax-free, but everything is more expensive. Exactly right. In Oregon, little known fact to most of the folks that don't live there, at least at one time, it might still be, it was illegal to pump your own gas. Probably still is, right? All the gas stations are full serve, and you roll up and you just hand them your card out the window, and they, no shit, somebody walks up, they take your card, they put it in the machine for you, and they ask you what kind of gas you want, the 87, the 89, the 90, whatever the hell it is anymore, and then they pump your gas and then give you your card back, right? Yeah. My grandfather lived up on the Oregon border, and he had some choice things to say about Oregon back in his time. I won't repeat them because they are not they're not safe for anything anymore. You think people get canceled now? Boy, the old timers. Some of the things they said. Yes. Anyway, let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Back to the fires. Where are we at time-wise? Make sure everything's fine. You got to make sure you're on time. That's the hardest part of the whole radio thing, is just making sure you're on time, right? Let's see. Okay. In fact, parts of the comet disintegrated in space and are still likely to be floating around our solar system 13,000 years later. High concentrations of platinum, often found in asteroids and comets, and high levels of dust were also noted in the samples analyzed by the researchers, alongside increased concentrations of combustion aerosols you would expect to see if a lot of biomass was burning: ammonium, nitrate, and others. I keep doing that. Nitrites. It's nitrates, right? Nitrate. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. The plants died off. Food sources would have been scarce, and the previously retreating glaciers began to advance again, the team noted. Human culture would have had to adapt to the harsher conditions, with populations declining as a result. Yep. Computation suggests that the impact would have depleted the ozone layer, causing increases in skin cancer and other negative health effects, said Mellod. Anyway, this is pretty wild, pretty nuts, and science. You gotta love science. Good old science alert, one of my favorites. What's going on, guys? Time and pressure. What's going on, guys? I think self-serve is not permitted. Oh, New Jersey, yeah, Jersey, yeah. That's another one. That's so bizarre. That's so bizarre. So what's the idea for that? Is pumping your own gas a safety thing? Is it a job thing? And this is what I'm saying. This is how politicians create jobs. They make the most mundane task illegal for you to do, and then they give jobs to some teenagers. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, but is that really the way to fix this shit? Like, the back-assward thinking in this world is just unbelievable, if you ask me. I'm not running for office, though, because fuck those guys. Even if you got a good idea, they'll find a way to shoot you down. Speaking of shoot you down, let's go to this. This is freep.com, whatever the hell that means. Oh, the Detroit Free Press. Where are we at? Make sure. Let's get through this one. All right, Detroit Free Press. This is another Whitmer kidnap suspect to plead guilty. We were not entrapped, they say, right? Okay. After trying everything he could to beat the rap, Caleb Franks has cut a deal with the government in which he would plead guilty to plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer and testify against his co-defendants, according to a new court filing. Franks is scheduled to enter his plea Wednesday in U.S. District Court in Grand Rapids. In a 19-page plea agreement filed Friday, Franks said neither he nor his co-defendants were set up by the government, despite multiple requests filed by his lawyer in recent weeks, hoping to advance his entrapment case. Nearly all were denied. Then came this. Quote, the defendant agrees to plead guilty to the superseding indictment, which charges him with kidnapping, conspiracy conspiracy, states the plea agreement, which also notes that Franks, age 27, of Waterford Township. Fuck's sakes, are you serious? This thing literally just bumped to another page while I'm reading the damn thing. Get out of here. Anyway, let's see. Waterford Township understands the crime, he said. The statement said. And perhaps most notably, it asserts the following, which contradicts the entrapment defense that he and his co-defendants have been hammering away for months. The defendant knowingly and voluntarily joined that agreement. Okay, so what they're not stressing in this article is that this guy made a plea deal. And when you make a plea deal, he's basically accepting a lesser sentence to turn on his cohorts, all right? So clearly and obviously, this is a biased AF article because these guys are not even saying, oh, by the way, there's some merit to the defense that they were entrapped, right? This guy squealed, and so they're like, oh, look, there was no entrapment. We weren't entrapped. But what they're not telling you, there's a whole bunch of information they're keeping private and through, again, through the whole national security bit and, sources and methods and all the rest of this bullshit. And again, it's not all bullshit, but it is when they hide behind it. If there's nothing to hide behind, show us. Move the FBI agent somewhere. Don't show us their faces. Something. Whatever. There are ways to do this without actually outing these people, right? But there's all kinds of shenanigans. We got the one guy who led it, had some sort of a corporation, some sort of show corporation where he was making money off the side or some shit like this. He beat the hell out of his wife several times. The FBI agent that was like, kind of running this outfit, even though he wasn't running it, because if he was, right, then it would be entrapment. But he was basically egging him on to do this shit. And so, yeah, that's not okay. What the hell just happened? The phone line took a crap. All right, let's call this back. Here we go. Test 1, 2. What the hell's going on here? Really? What just happened? Okay, hold on. There it is. That was weird. That was a time travel situation. That was literally...
Thank you for calling Troubled Minds.
So I knew...
Caller ID authorized as a host.
The call dropped before
Welcome,
the call...
host. You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the call-in studio web interface. Audio recording is on. Dual channel.
Who knew? Who knew I could time travel? I knew the phone dropped before the phone even dropped. What's going on, guys? Yep, Robert's got it right. The FBI was in on this from the beginning. So anyway, like I said, what they're not telling you here, or what they're not stressing, is that this guy he rolled over on his buddies. He's going to testify against his buddies for a lesser charge, and then they're noting we were not entrapped. And if you think the world is not seeped in propaganda, you're dreaming. You're absolutely dreaming. Speaking of propaganda, and let's see, time travel, let's take one more quick break and get a word from our sponsor, which is you. Are you digging the show? If so, you can support us quite easily and at no additional cost to you if you already have an Amazon Prime account. Since we stream on Twitch every day, all you have to do is link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and they give you free games on a monthly basis for your personal use, and also a bonus $5 a month to send to your favorite streamer as a way to bring more people to Twitch. And all you have to do is sync up the two accounts and click subscribe. Thanks for considering us. All right, let's continue, shall we? Final segment of the news show, and here we go. Yes, you gotta love this. You gotta love the idea that you just want the best for people. Like I'm so right about the world I live in that I just want the best for people, or I'm going to punch them in the fucking face. Let's go to this. This is from Fox News. Oh, you got to love Fox News and their propaganda. But, well, if they catch somebody saying something stupid, they catch somebody saying something stupid. James Carville said this: I want to punch piece of shit unvaccinated people in the face. Quote, another quote, I just want to punch you in the goddamned face. Yes, so good. Democratic strategist James Carville cursed out unvaccinated individuals on his podcast last week, saying anyone without a vaccine was a piece of shit, and he wanted to punch them in the face. On Thursday's Politics War Room with James Carville and Al Hunt, Carville and Hunt took a listener question wondering why President Biden would not pass a bill that bars unvaccinated citizens from interstate travel. Facepalm. I can't facepalm harder than that. I absolutely cannot. Well, why wouldn't he just lock down interstate travel? I mean, that's the way we fix this, right? Like, this is the fucking world we live in, people. Like no shit. Are you kidding me? Somebody would actually suggest, well, we'll just lock down interstate travel. That's not a police state at all. You know, we just we may as well just put handcuffs and lock them to the monkey bars at the fucking school until they get vaccinated. Quote, I wouldn't be against that at all. I'd be for it, actually, as long as you put or testing before you get on a plane or bus or interstate train. You want to be vaccinated or tested. I don't think the Supreme Court would allow him to do that, Hunt said. Do you know why? Do you know why the Supreme Court wouldn't allow him to do that, sir? Sir, and I'm being very polite by calling you sir, is because get the fuck out, really? Because this isn't 1930s Germany. Because this isn't Stalin-era Russia. That's fucking why. No. Sorry. No. And this is what you get from like these bizarre echo chambers, right? That just want the best for everybody. They want the best for everybody. But then, you know, I want to punch these pieces of shits in the face and punch you in your unvaccinated face. Get out of here, man. This guy's an idiot. They're all like, come on. Seriously? Idiots. ID10T. Here we go. I wish what they do is pass a law to make you immune from liability if you punch some unvaccinated person right in the face, which I'd really like to do, he said. If you ask me, that's my first reaction to you if you're not vaccinated. You don't have any medical reason not to be? You're a piece of shit, okay? I just want to punch you in the goddamned face. That's the way I look at these people, Carville said. Agreed, Hunt replied. Agreed! We want what's best for them so much that we want to punch them in the face. Really, bro? Really? Okay. All right. Back to NPR. What the fuck? All right. The future of the pandemic is looking clearer as we learn more about infection. Oh, I see. I see. During the early days of should I even read the? Okay. Quote, in the early days, these were some of the headlines. Immunity to COVID-19 could be lost in months, UK study suggests. A headline from The Guardian alerted back in July 2020. What they're not telling you is The Guardian itself is a bullshit propaganda outlet. Okay, there's that. There's one of the facts here that they're not letting you on to. Anyway, King's College London team found steep drops in patients' antibody levels 3 months after infection, the story warned. But that idea was based on preliminary data from the laboratory and on a faulty understanding of how the immune system works. Oh, I see. So now after decades and decades of the flu, we're starting to understand how the actual immune system works. Wow. How was it that I knew way more about this in 2020 than any of these assholes still know? And I am not an epidemiologist. I'm not a doctor. Hell, I even failed. I didn't fail anything. I'm just kidding. It sounds more funny if I say I failed biology, but I didn't. But in any case, what difference does it make? Because these guys in their bullshit propaganda, they can't lay off it. They can't lay off it, right? Everything is always some new thing to explain why, oh, this is why we didn't quite understand. No, fuck you. We had all the information we needed to understand from day one, all right? Clearly, some pieces of the puzzle needed to fall into place, but I said it then. We couldn't vaccinate against the common flu. We were behind 6 months every flu season, and there's no way to stop it. That's what I said then. Well, how come they didn't know that? How come now suddenly still they don't seem to know that, right? All the lies, all the BS, all the propaganda. Let's just punch them in their damn face, shall we? Anyway, I'll move on. Let's go to American Scientific and Scientific American. I mean, you know, that... What's going on? Robert says, those elite Democrats only expose their true contempt for the working folks they profess to champion when they in Carville drops the mask. Exactly. Hey, punch them in their goddamn face, Robert. You got it? Here we go. Speaking of amazing stuff, the evolution trail, a strange creature discards genes to make a better heart. The sea squirt relative demonstrates that sometimes less is more. Losing genes can be adaptive. Pretty wild stuff. Let's see. Robert says, I've donated many times through GoFundMe and no more after the site froze the millions of dollars donated to the Canada Trucker Convoy. Yeah, same. They're dead to me too. Forget it. And this is the whole point, right? So GoFundMe makes a nice living for themselves, right? They have to, servers and all the rest of this shit, right? They got employees to pay, all the rest of that. But the second they start pulling donations that are supposed to go to particular causes because the cause to them is not acceptable, well, screw off. There's going to be other places that step up. And by the way, I did hear this. If you did do that and you press the refund button on the GoFundMe, they'll just send you the money back, right? But if you call up and charge it back on your credit card because it was like basically under a false pretense that they took your money, saying they'd send it to the thing, they get charged $15 for the chargeback. So wink, wink. I'm not telling anybody to do anything in particular, but I am saying if you want to stick it to the man, there are ways. Here we go. As far as sea squirts, he said sea squirts, and their close relatives go, the genius, oh boy, Oikoplera. Okay, we'll just roll with that. Since Microsoft Mike is on the fritz again, he can't help me. Represents a decidedly strange group of organisms, both from the standpoint of physical attributes and genetics. Actually, is Microsoft Mike on the fritz? Let's hear him say sea squirts and Oikoplera in the same sentence. Let's try this. Go.
As far as sea squirts and their close relatives go, the genus Oikoplera represents a decidedly strange group of organisms, both from the standpoint of physical attributes and genetics.
Okay, Oikoplera. All right. Sea squirts. All right. Anyway, blah blah blah. Here we go. The vast majority of blah blah. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Read this. I don't know. Am I too tired to read this? Anyway, all right. So they drop the genes, make a better heart. Got it right. What's up? Let's go back to the chat. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, troubledminds.org. All these links, again, will be down below if you want to follow up and read the stuff that I'm reading. It is interesting to note that sometimes these articles change after I've read them, which is part of the reason to do the news here, because they've, updated something after the fact, even though the 24-hour news cycle works in the mysterious way of it gets all of its exposure in the first 24 hours. And so when they correct something after that fact, they're no longer promoting it, pushing it to the front of the headlines. And so, well, it's almost like they're pushing disinformation, right? And not actually correcting anything. What's up? Dre says, not enough deserving people are getting punched in the face anymore, though. All the keyboard warriors and interweb shit talkers, reputation ruiners, business bankrupters should all get a solid punch to the face. Maybe that would make them shut the F up. And maybe. Let's say maybe. Let's say I don't advocate violence in any way whatsoever, but... Bing! This is where you get like the glowing eyes, the Michael Strange glowing eyes. Okay, let's go to this is the Washington Compost. Oh yeah, definitely good stuff. Kids are flocking to Facebook's metaverse. Experts worry predators will follow. Yeah, no shit. Right? No shit. Children aren't allowed in the Horizons World of virtual reality yet, but that isn't stopping them from socializing with adult strangers. Oh, but I thought this type of thing wasn't a problem, right? Like we're told, Jeffrey Epstein is not a convicted pedophile. He's a disgraced financier, right? That's how they frame him. And anyway, blah, blah. In theory, kids aren't allowed in the game. The new virtual reality app Horizon Worlds, the first foray into the much-hyped metaverse for Facebook parent company Meta, is limited to adults 18 and older. In practice, however, very young kids appear to be among its earliest adopters. The person I met that day who told me they were 9 and using their parents' Oculus VR headset was one of many apparent children I encountered in several weeks on the app. And reviews of Horizon Worlds include dozens of complaints about youngsters, some of them foul-mouthed and rude, gleefully ruining the experience for the grown-ups. The grown-ups are speaking. Anyway, but experts say the presence of children in Meta's fledgling metaverse raises a graver concern that by mixing children with adult strangers in a largely self-moderated virtual world, the company is inadvertently creating a hunting ground for sexual predators. When new online forums arise that attract kids, sexual predators, quote, are often among the first to arrive, said Sarah Gardner, a vice president of external affairs at Thorn, a tech nonprofit that focuses on protecting children from online sexual abuse. Once again, I thought we were told that this is just a QAnon movement. This stuff doesn't really happen in the real world. There's no actual trafficking of children anywhere. That's just a Pizzagate farce. None of this is real. Oh, so which is it? Is it convicted pedophile or disgraced financier? Mainstream media. Is it? What is it? Anyway, when new online forums arise that attract kids, we already read that. Once a predator has identified a target, they'll try to isolate the child, gain their trust, and coax or bribe them into sending nude images or videos of themselves, or even meeting up in person. It's a problem that has been documented on social apps such as Instagram and Discord, along with games such as Fortnite and Minecraft, many of which have taken steps to address it. Meta appears to have done little to address the possibility of child grooming specifically, despite throwing huge amounts of resources into the development of the metaverse, even changing its corporate name from Facebook in October to reflect a new emphasis on virtual reality. Asked whether Meta views young children on Horizon Worlds and Horizon Venues, a sister app focused on live VR events, as a problem, spokeswoman Christina Millian emphasized that social VR is an emerging and rapidly evolving medium, and that the company is figuring things out as it goes. Which of course means that the public at large is their guinea pig. No time for beta testing. There's money to make here, right? And that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem, not just with this, with the whole punch him in the goddamn face world. That's the whole problem, right? There's a lot of shenanigans going on here, and we become the beta testers, right? We become the individuals that they're like, well, let's we're not sure about that health thing, that mental health thing, but what we're going to do is we'll just determine it, based on the number of suicides, and then we'll decide from there. Is it statistically significant, or is it something we could just like call random noise in the data, right? This is the world we live in, folks. And and then punch those dirty unvaccinated in the face. And we're expected, when, no offense to the guy that called in, Todd, you guys remember that was preaching to me and pissed me off the other night? I mean, this is the world that we've been accustomed to, in that everything is divisive. Everything is, I want to punch the Nazis in the face. And Nazi doesn't even mean Nazi anymore. It means people that don't agree with me. And then, of course, there are all these other terrible things you can throw into the name box, too. And welcome to the brave new world. Anyway, we've got a couple minutes left. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link, and let's see. I feel like too many people have gotten far too comfortable not having to suffer the consequences of their actions, and the internet has emboldened them to do so. I think that's an unfortunate thing. Again, this is why we can't have nice things, because people cannot have anonymity and use it in a nice way, right? They have to have sock puppet accounts and all the rest of this bullshit to try and frame people for other things that aren't even actually true. And this is, again, devious people. It's not good. It's not good. Let's go to this final one. Newsweek. Newsweek. Gotta love Newsweek. The most trusted propaganda source in America, or one of them anyway. America races to avert the quantum apocalypse. All right. That sounds cool, right? The U.S. is racing to research cryptography designed to safeguard against future quantum computer attacks, known as the quantum apocalypse, as cyber experts warn of catastrophic consequences for our online infrastructure. Quantum computing uses the properties of quantum mechanics to perform computations far more complex than what modern supercomputers can achieve. While quantum computers may have the ability to solve a multitude of problems, including cracking encryption in a fraction of the time it would take a standard computer, experts say in the wrong hands, the machines may present an existential security threat to our way of life by compromising information that we consider safe and protected. Safe and protected. That could mean the leaking of sensitive national security secrets, bank accounts being drained, and bad actors hacking into cell phones and email addresses. Which part of these things are not happening right now, by the way? Can anybody know? Does anybody really? This is all happening now. Anyway, on a larger scale, the U.S. power grid could come under attack, leaving millions without power, an industry expert told Newsweek. Quote, in the case of an attack by a future quantum computer, now we're time traveling, with its unprecedented power to decrypt existing encryption systems, the shutdown could be the most catastrophic disaster our country has ever experienced, Arthur Herman, director of the Hudson Institute's Quantum Alliance Initiative, told Newsweek. Quote, it's been recognized for years that our power grid is highly vulnerable to cyber assault. No shit, Sherlock. Said Herman, what Texas experienced last winter with its deep freeze power shutdown is only a small foretaste of the havoc that a prolonged and undetectable quantum computer attack could bring. Industry experts aren't currently able to pinpoint when quantum computers powerful enough to threaten current security levels will exist. However, some have estimated a timeline of anywhere between 5 to 15 years. Oh, to perfectly coincide with the metaverse and punching people in the face. Oh, sorry. Again, I'm not. This is not a financial advisor, and I'm not a financial advice. You see what I did there? Anyway. I don't know, and I'm not advocating to punch people in the face. It was just a joke. So I don't know. Like, it's difficult to read the news anymore, isn't it? It's just, and this is part of the point. It's like you got to just. You got to have your tinfoil strapped on, your bullshit detector on full alert all the time, because so much of this is just garbage. Again, just trying to sway public opinion about particular things. And again, if they accidentally make a mistake, the correction comes days later at the bottom of the article in like some little blurb, which again is already come out of the news cycle and gone away. So they've already smashed their propaganda into the zeitgeist, and that's what this is about, right? It's about smashing propaganda into the zeitgeist, and then any retractions come after the fact. And the only way to stop these people is to sue them. I mean, we saw that with the Rittenhouse stuff. We saw that with the other guy. What's the guy? The guy with the Native American guy in his face, Nicholas Sandman. That type of stuff, where they just called him racist over and over and over and over and over again. And then what did they do? They just sued their nuts off. And what did they get? Huge settlements. Because you're not allowed to say these things about people. For crying the fuck out loud, you're not. But they don't care, right? They don't care. There's a lot of money involved in this stuff, and so that's how you make them hurt, and you smash some of that money back. Quantum Apocalypse. What's up? No, what's up, Night Stalker? Let's see. Matt says, I think there are kids' games and adult chat rooms, but how do we keep them separate? Clearly, you just punch them in the face, Matt. Just punch them all in the face. That solves everything, didn't you know? James says, I would think they would be fairly easy, and this is what the folks about the China surveillance state say, is they say that, well, that's why we make everybody log in with the facial identification, so we know exactly who's playing at all times. James says, I think it would be fairly easy if the companies that make tech would focus on that more than they focus on making as much money as they can. Exactly right. Yep. And that's exactly the point. That's my point about all this stuff. If they really gave a shit about transparency and data collection and the rest of that, there would be a big button that said, don't sell my data. One big ass button, it would be on the front, and you would just turn that shit off, right? But then they'd be in their right to say, okay, then you have to pay us $10 a month to use Facebook or Instagram or whatever, right? And many people would happily do that, but it's a lot less profitable for them, you see? Free is the best profit, because they can just do their thing. Anyway, so I hope the lemonade finds you well. We never got a consensus yellow or pink lemonade. I think you mix them both, and I'm happy with that. And let's get the hell out of here. So what we got coming tonight on Troubled Minds Radio is our good friend James Salcedo of Salcedo Paranormal will be on the show with me as co-host, and we will be talking about paranormal stuff. If you're into that paranormal type stuff, well, come on down. We'll see you at 7 p.m. Pacific, and doing the radio thing and doing the YouTube thing and doing all the things. And I can't believe my webcam hasn't taken a shit in a full hour here. Wow, it's like a new record recently. I don't know what's going on, but the thing keeps crashing and I keep blinking out. And anyway, I think maybe I've got some things fixed. I spent some time yesterday just sorting some things out, so hopefully we've got a nice, more stable thing going forward. Anyway, whatevs. Thanks again for hanging out, guys. You're all the best. You know I love each and every one of you, and the way this goes is like this. If you want to help the show, spread the word. Just spread a good old-fashioned word of mouth averts the algorithmic control. You can go straight person to person and just talk. Say, hey, come check out Troubled Minds. It's not bad. Mike's kind of a douche sometimes, but he's not that bad. Come check this out. And that's what's going on. What's up? That blue Calypso lemonade is fire. There it is, right? So we got to add the blue lemonade to the mix. What's going on, guys? Hope everybody is great. Happy Monday. Don't let the Monday blues drag you down. More Troubled Minds coming up tonight. And there you go. See you tonight on Rockfin. You got it there, Robert. And so as it finishes. If you want to help the show, there's a Patreon, there's a Rockfin you could sub up to, there's of course the Twitch right here you could sub up to through Amazon Prime with no additional cost. It's included in the cost of Amazon Prime, and all that is there. If you like the show but don't like or don't have the means to help the show in a monetary fashion, which is completely fine, just listen to the podcast feed, Spotify or iTunes or your favorite podcast app. That's the way to help. You just go listen to some old episodes. There's tons of stuff on there, hundreds and hundreds of episodes, and lots of things going on. So if you if that's how to help. It's as simple as that. And don't forget, the most important thing is that you spend your time and energy here with us in this moment, considering all the things, because there's a lot of things to consider. So don't forget that there's a billion things out there you could be doing with your time, and you're spending it with us. I'm honored by that. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. This is Troubled Minds News. I'm Michael Strange. I'm out of here. Have a great one, guys. Happy Monday. We'll catch you tonight.